Bullets on the back of the box were hit and miss even back then. But that 80 possible endings, that had pull. Welcome back to Star Ocean, the second story. The game has started, but there's something new that we can do in Arlia and Salva. Private actions. Private actions are not new to Star Ocean. They were in the original Super Famicom Star Ocean 1. But for most people playing it, this game was their first introduction to it. And what an introduction it turned out to be. What private actions are is the ability to go into a town and your party splits up. It allows for different mini-events that come in different shapes and sizes, and affects the story in different ways that are almost invisible in the long run. This boy will never get their candy. But as you'll see today, there will be a good example of the different kinds of private actions that we can actually have. And what they ultimately will do once we get further on into the game and have a few more people that we can do this with. Come along with us, Green Man. You need to be more specific about what you want. The maid does not want to talk to Claude at all. Kind of a shame. When Rena talks to the maid, it's a little bit more welcoming. But we did have to talk with the townspeople after, well, peace has been restored after rescuing Rena, and Boss Man has returned, so the kids are not lonely anymore. Yes, private actions don't really change the state of the town. It's more for the characters actually being in the town that you can personally chat with. Rena being in her room, all alone. Reminiscing is all. Like, where do you get the bear and the dolphin? Some private actions will give you multiple choices to choose from. Depending on the choice, that will affect the character's affinity for each other. There's two different kinds of affinity, and you really don't know what affinity each character has for each other unless you go digging around in the data. Depending on what you choose, and also the private action in general, it either affects their relationship points or their friendship points. Because, of course, whether you're playing as Claude or Rena, they can have relationships with different characters. Or just be friends. Now here's what's gonna happen with private actions, because they were in the first Star Ocean, and I played that an entire lifetime ago. While they were in the first game and you got a good sense of them, there weren't a whole lot of them. In this game, there is plenty more. If you were to comprehensively experience them all, you would have to play the game at minimum, I think, 6 to 8 times because of all of the different combinations of characters you can possibly have at once across both perspectives. I'm not doing that, of course, because I want to continue loving this game, and that is a recipe for not loving this game in the long run. I will show as many different combinations as I possibly can, but if it's not going to be too helpful, or if the dialogue really isn't all that interesting, I'm gonna skip it. Yeah. There will be no benefit of the doubt. And you really don't know what's going to happen with a result there until you do it. So of course that's the negative version. The last one is the neutral one, where Claude just goes right past what is being talked about. This either gives Rena something to chew on, or goes completely over her head. Well, I'm good. Goodbye. On Rena's side, we also get a different kind of private action. It's a little bit different. We don't get multiple choice with this one. Instead, as we're kind of going around, I want to just see, yeah, we get a little bit more from the newlywed couple. And the old man treats us better. But Claude is in an inaccessible part of the map. We get a slight bit of revelation so early in the game. I hope someone can correct me on this, because what is Claude delivering here? Because I'm pretty sure it's a soliloquy and not a monologue. Or it's neither. But yeah, let's rip off the band-aid of where Claude came from, because sure, why not? Will Rena even believe everything he's just spilling out into the void? Probably not. Let's kind of leave it alone. A lot of work has gone into this, understanding this over the years, which is deeply appreciated, because that would mean someone has to go through every single instance and go, what has changed between this scene before and after? Because what's amazing is nothing, really. I also love this line, where's everyone else today? We're going to be back with more party members. So that's all we can do in Arlia for right now until, well, we get some more characters, because it's not just going to be Claude and Rena on this wonderful, wonderful journey. By this time in the first Star Ocean, we had 4 party members. You also get a nice taste of after Alan has been freed, and what that involves. Hey boy, you can go outside. No, I can't. I'm too hungry. Oh, sorry. Gotta pay the Yuki tax. There you go. Pleasure doing business with you, Yuki. First, this traveler actually has some helpful information. Then he wants to leave. Now he wants to stay. You're talking with her. You really are not aware of who was actually taken. You do this with Rena, but the same thing, we're not going to purchase anything, so he gets to threaten us again. It's never really recommended to buy things when you're in private action mode, because we only have one member of the party here. So if you're getting equipment, probably don't, because you have no idea about what is good equipment and bad equipment. Did Alan replace his door? Well, the girls are just very well informed. Oh, spread your grief, sir. But you know, don't serve me anything. There's Claude up there, but we're gonna leave him for right now. Yeah, he's over there. Go and talk to him. That is beyond your boundaries. It kind of feels like we could go into the Salva Drift, but if we went into the back there, we wouldn't be allowed in because we're in private action mode. Now everybody's talking about Alan, but when it comes down to it, Alan's kind of missing in action. Of all the people we can talk to in Salva, Alan is not one of them. He is nowhere to be found. He's not making a new portrait. He's not in this bedroom. Like, he's nowhere. I think he'd be somewhere at least, but... Okay, Claude. What are you thinking about? Rena's thinking about the past. Claude's watching the sky. These little scenes are also nice because it's just the beginning of the journey, so they really don't know how to talk to each other. And then we get to figure out what kind of perspective Rena has on what the sky is. Claude gets to poke his intellect a tiny bit. And this is weird because this is Rena's perspective, but we're getting Claude's internal dialogue. But since this is the only way that we get this private action, they can't place it anywhere else. Unless Rena has secret telepathy. We can buy in, know what we know, and just kind of project that into Rena. I get that kind of thinking from, unfortunately, a second grader, and I know that is not a compliment. Or we can just refuse the question at all. It's kind of strange where we can just get these private actions and then also just fail to meet them at all. Going like, there's an option of, you know what, I'm just not gonna touch this. I mean, it's good that it's there, but at the same time, that's not how I would engage with the system. It is really good that they put an example of this kind of private action so early, having a flashback. Is also a good way to just poke at the player going like, you know, this is also supposed to be a science fiction game, not a fantasy. Because I've always found that Star Ocean struggles with those two pillars that it has. It really finds itself to be more comfortable in the fantasy setting, making it a little bit more grounded, even though it originally comes from a sci-fi Star Trek. Usually it's described as way of presenting things. I do struggle with this exchange because Claude never really came off as being as kind of, how should I put it, formal in terms of his delivery of speaking, especially when it comes to addressing his father. Like, yes, he wants to identify himself as not being the son of Ronix. But that isn't going to stop his dad from doing what he wants. Unfortunately, Claude being roped in on all that. The other kind of exciting thing the first time you do it is that you get control in the flashback. I'm going like, okay, it's a flashback. We're just going to enjoy the flashback as it goes. No, you get control. You can talk to these people and just kind of go around until you head up to the doorway. I love these ideas, especially with this last woman who mentions that Ronix is 58. So at the end of Star Ocean 1, Ronix was 38. I mean, he's just going to go off on an adventure because he wants to brush up on his magic skills, right? Because Ronix knows magic. Has he not been able to, like, show it because of his duties and having to, like, hide it amongst other people? He can hear you. It's that situation of they want you to hear them. And that's it there. We just get a cool flashback. So sometimes it affects how party members see each other. Other times it just is fleshing out the story, which is also very important. Get a little bit of right before they landed on Mylekinia. So let's do that. From now on, if there's ever going to be a large section of doing private actions, that is just going to be a separate break-in chapter on the video. As the sun sets, heading to Cross.
Heads up. Things will work out. I think.
A lot of the times you don't get a fight before you head into Cross, which means that you miss out on this rather rare version of the field battle scene where it's at sunset and you get the lens flares going around. I like it. The girl mentioned that Salva's backwater, so it took an entire day of travel in order to get to Cross. And according to that clock, it is just after midnight. Maybe. Just kind of reminisce, going like, well, you get into town in the middle of the night. This is the capital city of the continent. And nearly everything is locked up. Everyone's gone home. There's barely anything open. Kind of reminisce of going like, remember when things used to close? Remember when channels used to not broadcast everything at every waking minute? Remember TV channels? You would all of a sudden be waking up at like 3 in the morning and you'd turn on the TV and it would just be test patterns. There's also things moved in different places during the night, which is, again, a rare touch. Just things that you wouldn't expect them to do because not a lot of people are going to notice. So the two places that are open, of course, are the inn and the bar, which they get to hear about the events that were happening in Salva. And then another piece of artwork in the back. Just a nice Enix touch. These pieces of games that are either were never released, concept art, or like most Enix games were just like Japan only. And I don't want to harp on the sprites too much, but again, we have fantastic Aunt Rachel here, whereas we have her clone, Rock Hopper, in Salva, and then simply the maid with Regis's house. You heard what I said. Always in these situations of, did you say something? I'm going like, yes, I did. And you heard me. Just be completely standoffish. Rena, it's the middle of the night. Aw, poor Claude, not gonna get any action. I think he's really looking for it. Also, Rena's 17. So Rachel needs to back off. We've heard a little bit about Diaz and Arlia, but not much. Hey, you go back behind the desk, please. Go away. Also, see, nothing's gonna happen. They have separate beds. It's perfectly pure that way. I would have loved to see a little mishap with the 3D objects that are in this room and just like, well, they just put a TV somewhere. And the explanation of just Diaz being extremely basic here, of just like, he lived in Arlia, now he doesn't live in Arlia. It was because something sad happened. Okay? I think it's a little early to say anything about that. That's nice. As he decides to not sleep in the hotel room at all, sleep in the hallway. Where would they shower and get freshened up? Well, the beds were too hard and the pillows were lumpy. That's what I've been getting in my recent hotel room stays, is just lumpy pillows. I'm fine with hard beds, but if I'm going like, if the mattress itself is more comfortable to my head than the pillows that they give me, I'm going like, what is going on? Oh, now it'll cost me money. Okay, I'm never staying here again. See ya, Rachel. Can't even go into the other rooms either. And no one's in our room? Okay. A new day, freshened up. What's going on around Cross? Cross is actually not that huge for a capital city, so at least they don't dump you into a place that's completely overwhelming. We do get little bits and pieces here and there. We can talk to the dog, but is it still on trend to really say that we can't pet the dog? I'm old. I'm sorry. Again, the girls are very well informed in this game. Oh, it is true. The clock does change time. Don't know which one's the second hand, though. It could be 7 in the morning. I hope it's not 3 in the afternoon. Well, too bad. There's a game to play. Found a child! We found a little jumping boy. Okay, goodbye. There's really just some places that you'll find in town that's like, especially this place where you're going like, okay, nothing's happening in here. It's also really foreboding. It's just the perspective of going like further in and down. It makes it feel larger, but also more narrower than it actually is. And a little creepy for a church. And then they move the patio furniture out because it's the daytime. Those little touches, they put them away during the night and then move them back out during the day. I think you're having 2 different conversations. There are restaurants in some towns. This one owned by Wallmeyer, and the other one is just Meyer. In some towns, you can buy specific foods and ingredients. These are for something that we have not talked about yet, and to be honest, you can go through the game without dealing with that system at all, and you'll be completely fine. We're going to try and use it a little bit more responsibly. Ah, look at all that kitchen equipment back there. You have a convection oven in there? Like, even the bar has a fridge in the back. Like, you got refrigeration in this underdeveloped planet? Yeah, unfortunately, the bar is not talking about the incident in Salva anymore. That's yesterday's news, literally. And then we have this place. The Magnifying Glass Room, or the Skill Guild. The Skill Guild can be a little bit daunting at first glance, especially based on the explanations you get in this place. So they'll talk about the skill system, and we're going to be looking at that in due time, but not right now, because we need to have a little bit more in order to invest into it, especially when he talks about 17 different specialty commands. I just want to fight and punch things right now. Like, I'm not really in the mood right now in order to do any extra business. But if you choose to do anything in the Skill Guild, they'll show you the 3, sometimes 4 things you can buy in there. They're packs of skills, so the knowledge comes with those 3 skills. We could go and purchase all 3 of these packs right now, but we're really strapped for cash, so I'm gonna hold off on those until it's a more reasonable time in order to actually talk about all this. We can get other things. In general, there's going to be weapons that, even as you notice in the top left, that neither Claude nor Rena can use. And that means, ooh, there's other party members coming up. When? It actually is sometimes hard to say. Sometimes really soon, sometimes hours away. To the point where that particular weapon is completely outclassed by the time you get them. And yeah, that's all it is for the main city, is just the middle point, east and west. That's it. And that man talking about the prince as we head into the castle, which has some pretty demonic gargoyles right there. So here's our second section, Cross Castle. let's pay taxes right now. That sounds like a perfect thing to do right now. Neither of them know how to pay taxes. But no, we're here for an audience. Because if you forgot, we did get a letter of introduction from Regis in order to help expedite the process of talking to the king. And playing through this again, this really is a more Rena-focused section. Claude is really a background character with this. Rena taking the lead. What a fantastic palace. We can just... ruffians, complete strangers can just come around in the castle as they please. And we kind of have to, because if we don't, the next flag won't trigger in order to actually go and have the audience with the king. More exploration. But the exploration in the castle is actually better because there's stuff we can steal. Like in the armory. The armory is just wide open. So we get a shield for Claude. And Rena can have a nice hat. Cover all that blue. I wouldn't call this a compartment. Are you a little old to be a page? And also, yeah, you do you, soldiers. Oh no, we have those kind of cooks. Well, I'm kind of that way too. But at least, like, in order to be properly planned, especially as a professional cook, you should have your plan for like a week in advance. Like, here's the schedule for a week. But no, we're not going to have that. You don't have to do a lot of wandering around the castle because now we can just have the audience, but there's still more to see. A green door and a red door. We could just walk into the prince's bedroom. I don't know what that sentence means. The prince is resting in the provinces. Sounds like something you were told to say. Especially since constantly people are talking about how the prince is missing. This is kind of what we get when we are roaming around and talking with all the NPCs, is usually there's some sort of other event going on. And if it really doesn't look like it's important to the plot, chances are it's going to be resolved in a private action. The missing prince, for instance, is dealt with in private actions. Especially when we get a clue like, oh, he kind of looks like Claude. Not your fella. Sure. I haven't even had my first audience, sir. Well, I guess so. I'm just chilling in this room. Alright, nothing else to really examine, so let's go say hi to royalty. I don't think I've ever really noticed before how much the NPC sprites are reused as of just right now. Because isn't this just the newlywed couple in Arlia? And a bunch of other people too? Including Yuki? That could have been Yuki in disguise, we don't know. The only way I can understand what he means by presented Rena is, okay, the king has not seen Rena since being found in the forest. I don't even know how old Rena would have been found in the forest, like 2 years old? A little less than 2 years old, so like 15 years ago? And again, Rena's taken the lead here. Claude is a background character. And this is also true in Claude's perspective. Rena does all the talking. Well, at least the king is going on the side of science here. We need more evidence to really say if earthquakes are caused by the sorcery globe. There are fights or in conflicts, but we don't know how great they are. Just a bunch of notes of soldiers screaming, scream writing. Ah, it hurts. Rena gets a little bit pushy with the king. Just going like, have you done anything? Like, yes, we have. Stop questioning me. Off with her head. We are trying to find the 4 Warriors of Light. Wrong game. Sure. We have enough confidence in your man we don't know anything about and haven't actually said anything to him directly. Okay. The king might not be off with their heads, but off to their deaths? Yeah. Now they realize, oh shoot, you're actually letting us go? It's not like these two have a plan. They just came up and going like, we want to investigate the rock that fell from the sky. And like, okay, off you go. Any reason why you were wanting to investigate it? No. But yes. We're not going to tell you though. What are you going to use in order to investigate it? We don't know yet. Okay. Shoo. Go away. We can go back and talk to the king more, but it's just saying the same dialogue, nothing really special about it. And that's it for us at this point. We have the passport, and now we just have to go into the next town. Click, as it were. Even this guy stops talking about the prince and starts talking about a giant demon bird. Sure, why not? Now, you might not have seen this character, but she was clearly eavesdropping on us during the audience. And I will admit, this heraldic wizard, it took me way too long to realize that, oh, this is just a palette swap of Alan. A more evil Alan. He has green hair and purple cape. And this is sometimes what I mean by Claude's dialogue. Sometimes he's just really stiff. You shall be a gentleman to this lady. Go on. As a tumbleweed just rolls by. Everybody's just watching, going like, okay, this is happening again. He really puts the dick in heraldic wizard. Goodbye. I don't think we ever see him again either. Alright, disperse, party's over. We're done. I really just had nothing to do and I needed to step in. At least she's honest about it. Just like, I literally took a look at you. The auction was talked about by one of the people in this circular square. It's a shame that we really don't get a sense of where the auction was even held, because we couldn't have access to it. It was just like, there's an auction happening today. Well, it would have been cool if one of the buildings actually had it. I want to delay you. I want to go on a forced side quest. Again, no. We have places to go. But thou must. But thou must. Alright, let's go. I mean, we already have direct passage to the continent we're trying to go to. But, you know, just like an extra day trip somewhere. Whatever. That's also purposeful game-wise because, well, unless you are purposefully out on the world map just kind of fighting things randomly, we are tremendously underprepared for the journey ahead. We can't go to the continent that's supposed to be filled with demons and only be level 5. So that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take Celine with us. Or Celine is going to take the two of us. And we're going to explore Cross Cave. Against our will. Will this treasure map actually lead us to treasure? We'll figure that out soon enough. Okay, these words, I'm glad you are giving names to the rivers and the lakes around here, but to be frank, that is useless information actually. We don't know what river is the Cisco River and which is the other river, which lake is Lake Cole. We just don't. There's a river bridge, so that kind of helps out a little bit, but not too much. And that kind of leaves it there. So it's time to actually properly head into our first dungeon, not with 2 party members, but 3. That'll be a lovely time to do so. So I'll see you next time, everyone, as I leave you with Rena's perspective. What if Rena stepped in instead of Claude? See you next time, everyone.